at regular, regulated, approved price is not easy to come by. And politics is still on one side. We heard that the High Court sacked 20 lawmakers
Hmm.
of the state from the House of Assembly due to their defection from PDP to APC. And I don't see, I'm beginning to wonder what will be going through the mind of Governor David Umahi right now concerning his own case.
Hmm.
We feel this will better strengthen our democracy if at the end of the day, the constitution has the stay. Let's see how constitution can take over the country for once as it goes on. We'll continue to watch the case. Let's see if they're going to appeal because the door is open to them to appeal. They have to exploit all the necessary avenue to challenge that judgment. But one off as far as that case is concerned.
Shola, I get you, and I like how you speaking to the Constitution, and remember we've had the case where a lot of people are understanding how much strength the lawmakers have and how the Constitution should be followed through with. I read a brief over the weekend from a lawyer, and he says that, well, it is okay for the judge to ask for the deletion of that section in the Constitution because, of course, now analyzing it, the court is supposed to be able to make such statements. I could read the entire brief, very detailed analysis, and while on the one hand we are saying let the Constitution play out the way it ought to play out, we also have lawyers who are bringing interesting angles to the Constitution. What do you have to say to that?
Over time, a lot of people have been taking advantage of lacuna in our constitution, and that is where we are today. But how do we judge it when the constitution itself has some level of porosity that people have over time have come to take advantage of it? We still have that have gone smoothly and have an escape route. The constitution allows it. That's why many people are saying that our Nigerian constitution is overdue and it needs to be amended, if not totally removed.
been made for them, no provision has been made for them. Like I said, growing up, at least I was still growing up at the time when I stayed where there was some form of central water system where you could actually turn the tap and the water would flow, and it didn't come from a tank or a borehole, but we're here now, and we hope that Nigeria pays attention to these things as they are, especially because it works better in rural areas. There are rural areas where just siting one borehole will change the life of hundreds of people. So while this is happening, this is also, we are loaning our voice to the voice of everybody speaking for water in the world today, and we are asking that you should contribute anyhow you can contribute. If you want to serve
sorry to butt in,
yeah,
water was the first creation in the world.
all right,
It was water that started the entire world, entire universe. If you go scripturally, you say, God said, let's separate water from the land. That means water was in existence before the land. So I don't know why people don't give that honor to water by making it available. A lot of people, even when you have issue with people, they will tell you, let's give him water, because it costs nothing. It costs nothing, because today, but water is becoming golden. It's becoming golden because of our government in the world, especially, let us narrow it to Nigeria, they have not taken any proactive measure to make water available. That is why you see a lot of people are in the business of water today, and the price is skyrocketing. It's because they know we cannot do without it. This period, the government should think inward. Look what they can do to make water available for every citizen of this country. Not just water, drinkable and pure water that people would drink and will not land in hospital.
I like how you put it, that pure water. What we know in the local parlance, what is generally called pure water in Nigeria, obviously has also skyrocketed. We talk about inflation on every level. Yesterday, I was walking through somewhere, and this young man was complaining bitterly. And he said, just water, 20 naira for just water. And I could feel his pain, because I remember when that sachet was 5 naira. And then he moved to 10. Now it's on 20. So think about it. Even if things are not working, there are just some things that should be a given. That's what I'm saying. That's where my mind is. So there are things that should be a given, and we should look into them and see them as they are. All right, Shola, I'm going to take you somewhere on another conversation. There's this the story in the news, Obiano, ex-governor Obiano, and the EFCC case. Someone made a list of things that have happened, people who have been arrested, people who have been gone after their tenure, and somehow they are still in circulation somewhere. It's not like there were consequences. It's not like anybody really found out something. And so in the case where this other ex-governor was picked up by EFCC, the conversation around it, on the one hand, is, wow, he's been witch hunted. The other one says, well, this is what happens. They go after them. After a while, nothing really goes on. So it seems like some Nigerians kind of feel they are not getting played anymore. They are not following any of this kind of conversations anymore, because it goes up, it comes down, and they do not know where it really lies. But Shola, let me get your take on that, please.
There's nothing we can actually do as far as this Obiano's case is concerned, because before it's the end of his tenure, it was released that he was under the watch of the EFCC and the other anti-graft agencies. Now he's in their net. Yet he has to be released. Not the days he spent there that matters, but how many petitions are lying there against him. And it needs to be question on each of these allegations against him or the petition they have against him. So let him spend more days there to clear most of these allegations, and let's see how it comes at the end of the day. But the most important thing is this: a man of his caliber, by now, the EFCC should let us know reason why they arrested. It's still shady. He's a one-time governor. They picked him up immediately. He handed over his immunity clause to another governor. He was picked. What are the reasons? What are the allegations? Nigerians we still don't know. And the man is still there. This is no longer an investigation. You will have done your investigation before. You hold the public to let us know what you are investigating it on. This will let us know that this is not political. This is not intimidation. It is purely about the allegation that is before you. The only lies, the only to prove all these allegations is between Obiano and the people that are alleged. So, what are we going to do? We don't know we don't have any information. All the information that we have now is that Obiano is in the net of EFCC. What he's doing there, we don't know right now. How many allegations against him? We don't know. So, it is still very, very shady, and it's not healthy for our community as a nation, whereby people will be arrested. We don't know where they are arrested. The ongoing conversation between them and that people is not known to people. So we don't know anything as far as Obiano is concerned. He can say his fate is in the hands of God.
Okay, I think a follow up on that. I read a piece. It was a news article that said that there were terms of bail, right? But he has not met the conditions of the bail set, from EFCC. So that will mean, shall I follow you saying to an arrest for something?
It's not in the place of the EFCC to say a particular person should bail because they have not taken him to court. They don't have that mandate. EFCC cannot tell us that they have that mandate to charge people and ask the accused person to bail him or herself. At what level? What power gives them that opportunity? They have to take him to court if they have any case against him, and he will go to court and they will slug it out from the court. It is only court that can give anybody a bail condition. So what is the issue of bail? You have arrested him for questioning. If you are satisfied with his answers, you let him go. If you are not satisfied, you feel that he is guilty from your investigation, you charge him to court and come up with evidences. So for now, the issue of bail, it all are still in the realm of speculation until EFCC through their image maker comes out to tell us exactly what is going on.
Okay. All right. Quick break. When we come back, of course, on to other stories right here on Atlantic Blowout. Do not go anywhere.
anchor on the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
A world without tomatoes is like a string quartet without violins. Lauren Cohen, 1994 to 1992. Fruits and vegetables are a vital part of nutrition. One of such vegetables that have proven their nutritional value over time is tomato. Tomato is a vegetable commodity which originated in Western South America and Central America. It is consumed worldwide today. The edible berry part of the plant, Solarium lycoperiscum, is what we call tomatoes, also known as love apple and wolf's peach. Tomato in common parlance is treated as a vegetable, although botanically speaking, it is actually a fruit. Tomatoes are good antioxidants. The antioxidant lycopene has been linked to many health benefits, such as purifying the blood, nourishing the skin, lowering cholesterol, and reducing migraine. More so, it boosts immunity, lowers the risk of heart diseases, stone formation, and cancer. This vegetable contains vitamin A, B, C, E, and K. Other components are potassium, folate, carbohydrates, fiber, and 95% water. Tomatoes are grown all times in the year with the help of greenhouse. However, they grow faster in temperate areas and take about 5 to 10 days to germinate. Nigeria is the largest producer of fresh tomatoes in sub-Saharan Africa and 13th in the world according to Google Reports 2021. The country produces 10.8% of fresh tomatoes in the region. Over the last decade, fresh tomatoes had grown by 25%, from 1.8 million tons to an estimated 2.3 million tons. Tomato farming in Nigeria is done predominantly in the northern region: Kano, Jigawa, Plateau, Borno, Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Sokoto, Kebbi, Nasarawa, Zamfara, and Kogi. These states have large plantations where the commodity is harvested. Bead sleek tomatoes are the common variety grown in the country. Its varieties are cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, Campari tomatoes, patio tomatoes, and Purendi wine tomatoes. Others are plum and Roma tomatoes, which are similar. The plum contains lesser amounts of seeds and water compared to other varieties. Tomato is a significant source of umami flavor, a basic taste in broth and cooked meals. It can be consumed in diverse ways. Cooked, put raw in salad and in drinks. If you do not want to have to deal with the lingering sour or edgy taste, go for the plum variety. It can be found in the Nigerian markets. Tomatoes grace a number of delicacies in Nigeria. It is used for chicken stew, beef stew, goat meat stew, fish stew, and just about any acceptable protein. Soups such as melon soup and okra have been served with tomato sauce. Vegetable sauce is yet another common delicacy that grows in sight and taste with moderate slices of the love apple. And of course, it can be sliced thinly for sandwiches and salads, used as appetizers or added to various pasta. Speaking of food preservation and consumption, it's commonly said that the fresher, the better, and this cannot be underestimated. But the toll on preservation issues have been ringing like a screeching bell. Refrigeration and drying remains the general and effective ways of preservation. Specifically, however, canning, oven drying or sun drying are other effective ways depending on choice of use. In Nigeria, tomatoes has not only provided investment opportunities and job creation, but it has also been a means of income to many farmers and traders alike. Consumers have also tried to home-grow tomatoes, and this has saved them some monies. Foreign exchange earnings as tomatoes are exported have been handy for the development of other sectors. Tomatoes has always been a mainstay in the food industry. So vital it is that individuals, groups, and government must be involved in its yield. Perhaps seek ways of improving its already colorful yield by supporting related research and ensuring regular production and availability for the growing population.
Anchor on the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
Welcome back to Atlantic Blowout right here on Atlantic Television Network. I'm still Nia Barry Fakai, and of course Shola is with me over in Abuja. Now there are some stories in the news, and some of them are scary. When I say scary, they are scary because when you see The police are supposed to be our source of security. They are supposed to be responsible for managing policing and ensuring that everything goes as ought to. But when you see in the story that a police station was attacked and razed, it starts to make you wonder what is really going on with the police. And this story is one that happened in Imo State. It says gunmen has attacked and razed the Okwele Division Police Headquarters that is situated at Unuimo local government area of Imo State. Now, correspondents gathered that the hoodlums struck midnight when there was no police officer on duty. Now, according to the indigene of the area, the attack was caused. The attack rather has caused uneasy calm in the area. Now, a recent attack came just 1 week after some gunmen attacked Isu Divisional Police Headquarters and killed 2 policemen on duty. The recent attack came just 1 week after some gunmen attacked Isu Divisional Police Headquarters and killed the police on duty. So a village source who preferred anonymity said the police usually leave the station every night and reopen it in the morning. We learned that they sleep in another station, and last night hoodlums stormed there and set it ablaze. This is about the only functional police station around there, and it has been set on fire. And this is highly unfortunate. So in a community like this, a police station is set on fire, and if you've gone to some rural areas, some communities in River State, in Nigeria generally, in Lagos, there are some communities that still have very little police presence. And somehow they find a way to police themselves locally, so you would rarely see police stations. But when you see one that is a divisional, supposed divisional headquarters, and it has been set on fire, and the question now says, how come? And the part of the story that I really got me a bit confused is that they leave. It says the police, they leave the station every night and they reopen it in the morning. And so the question now to me is the police not supposed to somehow have a system where they should be handy 24/7 and leaving the station and now hearing that the station has been attacked, the other station has been attacked too? What is going on? Is it a systematic way of looting weapons for whatever reason? You know, but all these things are just concerns that Nigerians also want answers to. I'll go over to Shola on this story. Shola, what's your general take on this particular story?
Right. It is obvious if those hoodlums come across any weapon during their raid, they will definitely go away with them. But should that be their reason why they attack police stations? No. Hostility is not yet over in Imo State. Over time, the insecurity challenge situation in Imo State has been something so escalating, and the governor of the state had over time cried out that the state is not secure. This emanating from different gangs, political rivalries, and so many people trying to show strength in Imo State. Unless the Imo lights want to lie to themselves, the insecurity situation in Imo State has been on the right side and it has been going up. We will continue to look why is it that the facility police is always their problem or their main target. Before the election of the by-election, the recent by-election in Imo State, some INEC facilities were attacked. What is the reason behind it? Up to now, the state government, the federal government, the traditional leaders have not been able to come out to reason why it's happening and able to say this is how we are going to find solution to it. We have seen so many traditional rulers in Imo State being killed, beheaded, kidnapped. So it's going on and on. We shouldn't lie to ourselves. Imo is really facing the heat of insecurity as far as Southeast is concerned. Across all the states in Southeast, Imo is quite becoming unsecure as far as these activities of this hoodlum is concerned. They have to come out and tell us why. The governor must rise up to the occasion, to the situation rather, and see how we can resolve this issue of insecurity. They can attack anywhere. It is a pity that they are attacking the formation of Nigerian police force. Reason best known to the hoodlums. They are following they have their plans. They really have their plans.
You know, I also have I have concerns about these attacks, because I think that the police right now in Nigeria, they are an endangered species. First of all, we don't even have enough of them. Secondly, they don't have enough tools. They don't have what they need to do their jobs. Thirdly, they are not paid well. And fourthly, that lack of a sense of security that comes from, well, the payments, the bills that are outstanding, and other things. That just makes me start to wonder. I remember the other day I stopped by to fix a tire, and I had a conversation between two people, and it was rumored, it was in that rumor that the police wanted to go on strike. And this young man kept going at it. The other one said, well, they should go on strike, nothing will happen. Of course, now what has happened? The other one said, of course, if they go on strike, do you know what will happen? The hoodlums will take over. The other one said, but if you call the police by 9 o'clock, they will still not come. If you call them by 9 p.m. to come and help you out, they will not come. If you call them by 10 p.m., 1 a.m., they will not come. So what's the point, you know? And the young man who was talking was asking what's the point, was someone who over time probably been extorted, or something had created a bias about him and the Nigerian police for him to say that. But we have Nigerians who just are indifferent about the plight of the police, because they believe that whatever the case is, just whatever happens to them happens to them. After all, they're not even doing a lot. And I sat down patiently to listen to their arguments. These were street boys, but their arguments were very interesting. The other one said, well, vigilantes are doing work now, so who is trusting police? The vigilantes are getting more justice. They are getting, they have the right tools and the right system in place to put the needed fear into local hoodlums. They somehow have the community support because the community trusts them more, and they found a way to absorb a lot of the ones that have caused trouble, somehow chase them away from their community. So these people, some people would rather just say, okay, give us vigilante, and let's phase out the police in some areas of Nigeria. And these young men were going at it. They went on to say, well, in some big cities, well, the police can be there, but they think in their local communities, there's not much the police is doing. What's your take on this perspective, Shola?
It is obvious now that the police that are policing the people also need security. And the only security they need is the way they themselves handle their affairs and their activities. Their sense of judgment over some issues are going to serve as their security, because they are securing us. Once they are put on that uniform, their life becomes so unsecure. That means they need security too, to the extent that the guns they have with them, the colors of their vans, the office, their uniform, are not enough to secure them. That means they have to look properly and see how they can be friendly with the community and have good sense of judgment when it comes to issues. There is a cartoon I saw in recent time that showed me a policeman trying to close the office, trying to lock the gate. And someone approached him and said, "Oh where are you going now?" He said, "They are closing because it is night." I said, why? It's police. You have to be open for 24. I said, okay, we are closing because of the insecurity in the country, in the state. So it's like police are scared of insecurity. Where do we stand when police are scared of insecurity? But the issue of Imo is so peculiar. This issue has started like 2 years ago. And we have seen governor challenging. At a point in time, the governor of Imo State came up one day and said he's going to release the names of the people behind the insecurity situation in Imo State. All of a sudden, he changed his mind. We are yet to have the names of those people he's talking about. We have heard when the governor of the state, at one point in the other, one time or the other, directly accused some of his political enemies as the cause of the insecurity in the state. Nothing has happened. We have seen situations whereby, like I said earlier, that traditional leaders were being kidnapped, killed, their bodies will be dumped in front of their palace, and at the end of the day, nothing has happened. Now they have been attacking police stations in Imo State for a very long time. This is not new. It's only that the hostility on the Nigerian police facility in Imo State is coming back. We thought it has died down. Can we trace this to the Southeast security network? Should we say it's IPOP people behind it? Who are the hoodlums? This is a community-based crisis that ordinarily the governor, if he's on top of his game, should be able to identify the hoodlums in his state. This is beyond the police to unravel. If care is not taken, innocent people will be dragged into this, and they will be meant to pay for what the sin they did not commit. So it is the issue of Imo State. It is only sincerity of the leaders, traditional institutions in Imo State to get all these issues resolved.
All right. We hope that this can be sorted. I also remember there was a time that a lot of police stations had to be shut down in River State. In some places, some streets were totally shut down because it seemed like there was a rampage. The attack was consistently on the police, seeking them out, burning their stations, all that. At the time, a lot was speculated. They had the IPOB suggested to be attacking. Some other people suggested many funny things. But what I take out of all that is in between. The terrorism that happens when stuff like this happens. Imagine the people, how traumatizing it could be that the police station was raided and burnt down. Anybody who lives in an area like that will just probably throw his hands up or depend on any kangaroo court that is set up by any local cult or militia. As the case is, and I can say this because it's happening too in some parts. I know a few parts of River State where you have that while the police could do what they are doing outside, in those communities the police don't have a lot of say, because what happens is that you notice the local gangs are the ones who are controlling things. They are the ones who issues, they're the ones who resolve issues, they're the ones who ensure security, but they are also insecurity in their own way, because they would take what they want to take. They would go to whatever communities. If there is a raid or something, they would sack whoever they want to sack, but in their locality they are the ones who are law. So I can say this because I know a few people. I know someone who was called upon by some of these local groups because there was a case that he had to come and explain, and this was, as it is called, a kangaroo court, because it was the chief cultist in the area who was the person who addressed this issue. So the point is, somehow Nigerians are dealing on the, if you live in the city, you may not relate to what these conversations are about, but on those local levels, in some rural areas, it is real terror, because it's either the police or whoever else is powerful enough to oust the police and take over control of the community and run it how they will. And if these things are happening, a few of them, these are two that has happened in a space of in a fortnight. What that starts to say is it that the local people, is it that these gangs are becoming so powerful that a federal institution cannot be respected? In a case too where a police outfit or a police building or a facility is set on fire, what I know from diplomacy is that that is an act of war. That is a direct attack on the state. And if the federal government, if the state government are not thinking in that line and handling this thing as ought to be, there's just going to be some form of infestation all over the place, because these guys also have their networks. The ones that have gone and have conquered and raised this police station, if somehow nobody has contained them or somehow they've not been brought to book, that will give a new vibe of impetus that will somehow send a sense of strength around to all their counterparts who are in other communities. And who knows, they may just decide to just do a syndicate thing and take over the place, such that the police, which is the representation of Nigeria as a state, may not have any expression there whatsoever. So I think that the state government should look into it. The federal government should pay close attention to these things. It is not enough to be unruly, terrorize people, and still burn down a police station and kill policemen. I think something should be, some state of emergency should be called to focus on these bits of our security. Shola, any more thoughts on this before we carry on?
You have nailed the thing on the head. Like, that government has to come up and see what they can best form to protect the police force and other security agency we have in this country. We shouldn't lead them like that into the air and allow people, hoodlums, to take over their activities of the security operative in anywhere they find themselves. Government should do more by protecting them.
All right, quick break. When we come back, of course, our governor, Nyesom Wike, says the security situation in Rivers State has improved. And of course, he sounds like he has bragging rights. When we come back from this break, we'll get into this conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Anchor on the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
A world without tomatoes is like a string quartet without violins. Lauren Cohen, 1994 to 1992. Fruits and vegetables are a vital part of nutrition. One of such vegetables that have proven their nutritional value over time is tomato. Tomato is a vegetable commodity which originated in Western South America and Central America. It is consumed worldwide today. The edible berry part of the plant, Solarium lycoperiscum, is what we call tomatoes, also known as love apple and wolf's peach. Tomato in common parlance is treated as a vegetable, although botanically speaking, it is actually a fruit. Tomatoes are good antioxidants. The antioxidant lycopene has been linked to many health benefits, such as purifying the blood, nourishing the skin, lowering cholesterol, and reducing migraine. More so, it boosts immunity, lowers the risk of heart diseases, stone formation, and cancer. This vegetable contains vitamin A, B, C, E, and K. Other components are potassium, folate, carbohydrates, fiber, and 95% water. Tomatoes are grown all times in the year with the help of greenhouse. However, they grow faster in temperate areas and take about 5 to 10 days to germinate. Nigeria is the largest producer of fresh tomatoes in sub-Saharan Africa and 13th in the world, according to Google reports. It uses 10.8% of fresh tomatoes in the region. Over the last decade, fresh tomatoes had grown by 25%, from 1.8 million tons to an estimated 2.3 million tons. Tomato farming in Nigeria is done predominantly in the northern region: Kano, Jigawa, Plateau, Borno, Kaduna, Gombe, Bauchi, Sokoto, Kebbi, Nasarawa, Zamfara, and Kogi. These states have large plantations where the commodity is harvested. Beets League tomatoes are the common variety grown in the country. Its varieties are cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, Campari tomatoes, patio tomatoes, and Purendi wine tomatoes. Others are plum and Roma tomatoes, which are similar. The plum contains lesser amounts of seeds and water compared to other varieties. Tomato is a significant source of umami flavor, a basic taste in broth and cooked meals. It can be consumed in diverse ways. Cooked, put raw in salad and in drinks. If you do not want to have to deal with the lingering sour or edgy taste, go for the plum variety. It can be found in the Nigerian markets. Tomatoes grace a number of delicacies in Nigeria. It is used for chicken stew, beef stew, goat meat stew, fish stew, and just about any acceptable protein. Soups such as melon soup and okra have been served with tomato sauce. Vegetable sauce is yet another common delicacy that grows in sight and taste with moderate slices of the love apple. And of course, it can be sliced thinly for sandwiches and salads, used as appetizers or added to various pasta. Speaking of food preservation and consumption, it's commonly said that the fresher, the better, and this cannot be underestimated. But the toll on preservation issues have been ringing like a screeching bell. Refrigeration and drying remains the general and effective ways of preservation. Specifically, however, canning, oven drying or sun drying are other effective ways depending on choice of use. In Nigeria, tomatoes has not only provided investment opportunities and job creation, but it has also been a means of income to many farmers and traders alike. Consumers have also tried to home grow tomatoes, and this has saved them some monies. Foreign exchange earnings as tomatoes are exported have been handy for the development of other sectors. Tomatoes has always been a mainstay in the food industry. So vital it is that individuals, groups, and government must be involved in its yield. Perhaps seek ways of improving its already colorful yield by supporting related research and ensuring regular production and availability for the growing population.
Welcome back to Atlantic Blowout right here on Atlantic Television Network. We've been walking through interesting conversations in the news, and on to this next one. This is centered around Rivers State, as the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says he has improved the security situation in the last 6 years of his administration. And the governor said this. He said the recognition, rather, of Rivers State by the Nigerian Police Force as one of the safest states in the country is testimony of his administration's huge investment in security of life and property. And he made this declaration as he urged the church to be wary of those who profess to be Christians but engage in political smear campaign with the intent to deceive them and the public. He made this statement at the 60th birthday celebration of the founder of Royal House of Grace Church, Apostle Zelia Agri, in Port Harcourt. And of course, when he says it, it is expected that we should agree, because we say that the governor is the chief security officer of the state. And this is Governor Nyesom Wike coming out to give himself a good scorecard for security. But this is where my concern is with it. If the Nigerian police says the state is as safe as it is, then it means that maybe they've not had as much problems as they've had in other states like Imo State or other states that are either attacking them, raising down police stations or other things like that. I remember when it was consistent, you would notice streets, roads, there were diversions because the police were being attacked right here in River State. But we've not had any of this kind of gists of late. We've not had anything of sort, and somehow the state is working. But I would say this, I think that, and this comes from feedback from a lot of people out there, the Rivers people somehow believe that the security that they are enjoying comes from three factions, right? We have the police on the one hand, and then we have the vigilante groups, that's the OSPACs and the likes, and then of course the local estate groups who also try to fund their security. Now these are the ones that you would have in gated areas. So you're coming to drive in, there is a Fulani man or someone from the north at the gate, and this happens in most gated areas. So these guys have come there. So I'll analyze them for a while. Someone called our attention to it and said the way that we let our security go to people who just came in, there are no profiles, there's no way to verify who they are or what they claim to be, and then they are just the ones who are standing at the gates. They open the gates, they lock the gates when you go to work. They are the ones at the gates. They bring their friends, they bring their brothers, they set up shop in front of your gate. Now that is a level of security that while some people may be concerned, whatever their bias is, those people somehow keep the place safe. I've also seen a case where those same people, the ones who walk around fixing shoes, sewing stuff, I've seen a case where they jumped into buildings where they've, of course, because they move around, it seems like some form of traditional surveillance system that they have, so they know who's around or who's not around. I've seen cases where they jumped into buildings, ransacked, tried to break into houses while the owners were not around. I've seen 2 CCTV videos like that from my clients, and these are obviously issues of concern, but on their level they are security. Now on the other level too, we also remember in the news the other day, it was said that an OSPAC, a member of an OSPAC team, or the OSPAC, killed a Nigerian army officer, and it made it so that the army went there, tried to sack the community looking for these guys, but while that is, those guys are their own level of security, and we know that the community funds them, and that's why they operate the way they operate. Now I will not take it away from them. They have that control locally, because somehow in these parts we know that if you choose to handle a local problem locally, then you will get the needed solution. When you bring external force to some traditional settings, you may not have anybody give you the needed intelligence. You will not have anybody give you the kind of support you need to do that policing. So someone says it's needed. So these are the 3 levels of policing that I know that happens in our state, and the governor says, well, the situation has improved in the past 6 years. That's a stretch of time to assess security. And while some people will take it, as he has put it, as true, some other people also want to say that the security system has been like a wave, up and down, up and down, up and down, because every now and then too, you hear a little bit of this, a little bit of that going on, and but people still carry on. Crime will always happen, and that's what it is. Shola, can I get you in on this story? Okay. So, as it is, every state should plan and prepare, and this is Governor Wike's statement, and he's saying it's, we want to analyze it anyhow we want to analyze it, but I think he's saying it from the point of someone who has bragging rights, and he has his reasons for putting it out there. And River State over time has improved. I can say I remember the times of a lot of insecurity because of the guys now on amnesty, and there were times when you would have to raise your hand and walk through some places. There were times when you would have to come down from a bike, push through some places. There are still some places like that in River State. But when you carry on, look at it overly, what is the cost of insecurity? What is the cost of insecurity? That's the question that I would want any Nigerian who is thinking of how to understand this story. The question you should try to answer is, what's the cost of insecurity? And the reason is because so long as there is that label that the state is not safe, You are sure that foreign direct investment is not going to come in. You are sure that people are going to pack up and leave. The other day I heard a senior Port Harcourt boy lamenting, and it'd be a place where people just wanted to just come over after making their money, chill, have a good time, and, sit around with friends, drink a beer, go out, dance, watch a comedy show, or watch some nice art presentation or drama presentation or music rendition somewhere, or just go to church. But these days we don't have that sense anymore. While we are saying that the state is safe, some people still say, well, some of us are leaving because of different levels of insecurity. So ultimately, it makes sense to agree with the governor that the security situation has improved. However, we hope that more can be done. More can be done that will keep Rivers people at peace for a while. Now, the body language of the governor too is doing a lot to it, because somehow locally Governor Nyesom Wike is now seen as a no-nonsense person, and so somehow they know that if he wants to handle insecurity, tackle insecurity head-on, he can do it well. But let's see. Shola, you want to get in on this conversation?
He tightened the security of the state, as he has been doing in the state. It takes to enjoy all the facilities he's putting in place. That is why he needs to go more stronger on security situation in the River State. But how has it been before he came into power is even important. And if he met a very good tight security before coming in as a governor, it is duty bound on him to make sure he will not do anything to reduce the level of security situation in the state. He's coming out beating his chest that the security situation in River State is highly improved. It will be left for the people of River State to come out and say, Mr. Governor, you're right, or Mr. Governor, you are wrong. This is the situation we are facing. There can't be any perfect security anywhere, although you can do your best and make it priority. I think Mr. Governor, where he's talking is prioritizing security. Or what do you think?
Well, Shola, there's a way you walk, there's a way you going on, and what that means is a lot of diversions are happening. What that also means is a lot of openings for free. I'll take Rumola. I'll take some places where he has actually opened up bigger flyovers and the likes. Some criminal elements in those places somehow have been reduced, simply because of the way the flyovers are designed. The moved market shopping and people hawkers from such places. He has a task force in place that are ensuring that people are not randomly parking anywhere or putting stuff on the road to sell or hawking around at the wrong places. Those guys they are crazy. I'll give it to them. They are really, really up there. I apologize for saying crazy, but their attitude is quite intense. You would see a truck of full of. I counted one day, going on 15 people in a truck, and they are the task force. And now the interesting thing about these trucks are, obviously the trucks were brand new when they were bought for them, but somehow it looked like those trucks had been battered and beaten or somehow turned upside down and hit on the ground several times. We also have several police vehicles that look that way, but somehow analyzing this, someone pointed out to me that, well, you have to use the needed kind of force to handle forceful people. So it looks like I said, security concept is trickling from up down. Everybody's checking the body language of the governor. So yes, this is the way he is. So don't try that, because of course he will come at you that way. And because his guys are also on the road running around, tax forcing, cutting away things, moving away people's stuff, or taking them away because they are positioned wrongly or stuff. I don't want to get into how those things are somehow remitted, whether there is any remittance of those properties that are seized. But somehow these guys have set the tone, and Rivers people are somewhat careful. So that impunity that would make you outrightly just come out and maybe wield a gun or shoot someone, or still outrightly in broad daylight, is not really happening there. But the insecurity in Rivers State has just come from the general craziness in the way people drive because of this consistent construction that's happened everywhere. Every road you pass, there is always someone going the other way, even if the road had been fixed. And that on its own is insecurity. I saw someone get run off the road one day because someone was driving the other way. So when you talk about security in the state, there are many ideas, there are many angles to it. Are you saying that you're improving the policing system in the state? What is the cause of the insecurity in the state? And I think that that is what the governor should also look into, because it's not in saying that the state is safe, but it's in ensuring that the criminal elements that infiltrate the state and get around to cause these insecurities are nipped in the bud. All right, Shola, that's it. You have any input on this before we wind down?
Well, in as much as he's trying to make the security situation in Rivers State tight, watertight security, you should also try and see how we can stop the situation in Imo, stop it from coming into Rivers State.
Right.
And should be able to guard against the influx of the criminal element from other neighboring states into the state. And I think for the first time, maybe he's enjoying the leadership of police in Rivers State, unlike the time he had issue with the likes of Fadipe.
Yes.
I think maybe now he's having good relationship with police and all other security network in Rivers State. They are coming to term with one strategy or the other, and coming up with their security meeting as at well to evaluate what they are doing, to challenge him on this statement if it's right or wrong.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely hold him to it. So as he has put it out there, and he put it out in church. So yes, church people know how to remember promises and hold on to it. I am Nia Barry Fakai. Thank you so much for staying through with us today on the show. Shola, thank you so much for joining this morning. Yeah, you can follow us on all our social media handles. Twitter is at Atlantic TV Net. Facebook and YouTube is Atlantic Television Network. And Instagram is at Atlantic TV Network. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Have a great day.